Hello, welcome. We are here for morning musings with Tara and from TSW Life Coaching, as always. Today, we are going to talk about resting. We are do get stuff done, especially if you're an entrepreneur, where we seem to be, we don't punch the 9 to 5. Well, I can only speak for myself. But yeah, we're always trying to create, to build, to all of the things that come to us. We're just kind of what to do to get out of the more masculine into the more feminine, into be more balanced life. That's what we're talking about today. Welcome, Tara.
Hello. Yeah, and I've been hearing, and we were talking just before we came on, that a lot are feeling really exhausted the last little bit. And so I thought it was a really good thing to talk about because there's definitely um a lot of conditioning about, well, even if you look at the word busyness, business is busyness. And so we've attached to that, and really that do like you said, rather than being in flow.
Yeah, very much. And there's a space here of when you do rest, you know you need rest, and you finally take the time to rest. That our mind goes, oh, when I'm done my rest, when I'm done having my little break, what do I need to do when I get back to it? All of the
Yeah.
list keeps going, and that's not really rest,
No.
in my opinion. So yeah.
And I think with that, the list of what do I need to do, it's like, how can I be more creative? What do I need to create my business? Like all of that should, which is part of that do.
Yeah. Well,
um,
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
There's that aspect of eat, sleep, breathe your business, um, creation, all of the things. And that is, yes, you do need to eat, sleep, breathe, but you need to do that in moderation. Yeah.
And I find what I've learned on my journey is when I can truly rest and disconnect from that and do something completely. And it doesn't mean that I have to be sleeping. Um, but when I take a break from my business and I play, like I do my photography or something like that, then the inspiration comes to me. And when we are in that rest space, we are allowing that to come to us. We're allowing things to flow in because we are not in that constant mind space of, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this. And we open up to that creativity.
Yeah. And we don't have to think about the things that we have to bring in. It just appears for us. And that's when we are in our center. That's when we are truly being in our being. And I love that, what you said, photography, because like, there's so many people that are struggling with even what's their purpose. Go start doing the things that that take your mind off of life. That, for me, I hate to say it, it's the dishes for me, and that's my space, or a walking meditation. But that's where I get so much inspiration and ideas, is when you're not even thinking about what you have to think about.
Exactly. Well, and I think that is so true for anyone because that's when we're most open. That's when we're most receiving, um, when we are in that flow state. And I love that you love your dishes that much. I do not. So,
Uh, no, I didn't say I love my dishes. That's where I get my most of my inspiration.
well, you've taught yourself to quiet your mind in that space. So that's beautiful. Um, there was something else I was just going to say. I can't remember. It's gone.
Okay, it'll come back. It will.
It will.
Telepathically telling you. Um, and I feel like you talk, or you talk. I feel like, even for an example, a writer, they, the old, stereotypical, they go away to the mountains into their cabin and they write. Yes, that break. But what happens if you're right, and you can attest to this because you are a writer, what happens when you are trying to be really hard in flow and it's not working? You don't just keep typing words. It just doesn't flow. It just doesn't work. So really taking that break and, completely taking it out of your mind about, oh, what am I going to write about? What is this chapter going to look like? Pulling that out and just being, and then the inspiration comes when it's supposed to.
100%. When I try to make myself write, even if it's a post, I will hit the delete button like 1,000 times. Not the right word, not this, not that. And then that's when I know, like, if it takes me 10 minutes to write a sentence, I'm like, yep, no, I'm done. Because I know when I write and I'm truly in flow, then it just comes. And I can write within that 10 minutes, I can write like 500 words kind of thing. And it just comes out. But I can tell when I'm not. And that's when I'm trying to make it happen. And I've learned that I can't do that. Um, I can, but it's a waste of freaking time because I just, like I said, 10 minutes to write a sentence, that's ridiculous. Um, and I'm way too much in the conditioned mind at that point.
Yeah. And you could type like a paragraph and then revisit it and you just kind of go, what the heck is this? It's not flow. It's not, it just doesn't happen that way, in my opinion.
No,
So,
I agree. And I feel that way with um, you know, entrepreneurs, as you brought it up, I think are still part of that capitalist conditioning, a lot of it. It's like you said, eat, sleep, breathe your business. Or it's just a new way to do it. It's no different than when you were working with someone else, other than you're working for yourself now. But you're still putting yourself in that I have to be, like, I have to do this. I have to do. I have to. It's no different than the lawyer that's bragging about working 160 hours for you as an entrepreneur to go, oh, well, I worked on my business for 160 hours, other than you're working for yourself. It's still the same energy behind it.
yeah, exactly. And yes, we do have to be thinking about what we're doing in our business for sure and doing. But there's this aspect here. Yes, we've been taught it's not going to come to you on a silver platter if you sit on the couch, but there's a space here for reconnection, is what I will call it. Go for a walk, go look at trees, there's that space that it allows you to reconnect to what your soul is speaking and trying to tell you.
Absolutely. And I think we so have attached to that, like you talked about in the beginning, that wounded masculine, that we just move into that so naturally. And rest becomes, oh, when there's time. But I think even more, and for entrepreneurs that are coming out now, is it's all about that creativity. And it's all about, no matter what business you're in, it's about that creativity and it's about being in that space. And you're not in that space if you are constantly trying to push it.
Yeah, yeah. And here's an example. I'm working on my new coaching platform. It's a 8-week course, and I finally had time this past Friday to actually sit down and really get in it. Like, I've written notes, I've done exactly what I'm going to do, but I need to compile it all and put it into a course type thing. And I went to sit and do it, and I'm like, I had zero. Like, usually I have, I could write about this and move, this on this day to teach and this on this day. I can move stuff around, but Friday I was like, not, it was like zilch. And then I was like, oh, what a wasted day. I'm wasting my day. I need to get this done. And I'm like, no, I need the day and I'm not going to feel bad about it. And that's what I did. I conceded to the fact that do, right? And it
Yeah.
was just a day that of nothingness for me. I did stuff, but not on my business.
Well, and that's where there's a reason for that. You know, we may not know what it is, but there's a reason for that. And lots of times when we push things, because everything is always working out for us. And when we push something, we are making things harder on ourselves for no reason. So maybe there's an inspiration that you were going to get that night, or someone was going to come across and say something, or there was something, a book that was going to, you know, that brought it all into light for you, or all together, or whatever. um and because if we push, we miss that.
Yeah.
We miss
It,
out being in that flow.
yeah. And that push is resistance. We don't realize it, but in all of the energy that it definitely is resistance. We don't see it as that.
No.
We just see what we want to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was just going to say, so I love that you said that, which at the core of is that not enough. That I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not. So I must do something to prove it.
Yeah.
And the universe doesn't want that from us. The
Yeah.
universe doesn't need us to prove anything. And that's where a lot of that inner work is to let that go of the universe doesn't want me to do. The universe wants to work through me.
Yeah.
And the only way we can allow that is by allowing it and being in the space that we need to be in, which a lot of times is rest, especially right now. Because as an empath, the energies are massive and we are transmuting a lot of energy. And so we may not be physically doing anything, but I think that's where a lot of that exhaustion's coming from too, is we are energetically doing a lot. I didn't swear there.
You
um,
can. It's
yeah,
YouTube. You can.
we just have to remember to hit the button. But there's a lot that's moving through us and our bodies with the energies and everything and the solar flares and all of that are really recalibrating. And so we are not doing ourselves any favors
Yeah.
by listening to that capitalist conditioning that says, oh, well, you need to keep pushing, you need to keep doing, you
What
need to
if I
keep
fail?
producing. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all
Yeah.
part of it, for sure. And yeah, there's that aspect of, oh, there was something I was gonna say. Um, that continuing do, but what's happening is if you do take that break, you're doing more for yourself. But also, we have to realize many of us are working while we are sleeping. And I'm not saying on our business, I am saying on an energetic, collective level, because that is what we do. That is why we are here in a big space of it. So even when we're sleeping, we're not getting the rest. Our bodies are not, our nervous systems are heightened all the time.
Yeah.
Even looking at our phones, and that is something that is built, like our nervous system gets that hit. You look at your phone the first thing in the morning, the last thing you do before you go to bed, and you're hitting yourself with, all of it. And it's really hard to hear what we need to do stepping forward if we're always in it.
Hmm. And not only that, I swear I've written my book in my sleep. I can't remember it, but I know it's up there and I know it's going to come when it's ready. Um, but yeah, we are doing so much in our sleep. That's such a great point. And it really is. If we are not resting, if we are not taking that time, and we are not allowing that to work through us, we are not doing ourselves any good.
Yeah.
And we're just creating the cycle of, again, like it's the rat race. Even if you're an entrepreneur, it's the rat race it's your own rat race
Steroids.
now.
Yeah. So moving forward, I feel that it's called to me a couple times now. What is a good way to rest? How about we give some help with that rather than just tell people you need to rest? For me, a good thing is to, well, one, unplug. Um, Walking in nature resets everything for me. And but not just walking, being mindful while I am walking, Was the grass cut in that yard today that I saw yesterday that it wasn't? Did they paint their door? Did they, all of the things, was that tree trimmed? Being very, very mindful and just being present is for me.
Yeah, being present, I was going to say, is a huge one. For me, it's whatever is being called for. Um, it is if my body is calling for rest, then I have a beautiful window out front that the sun comes in. And yeah, so that is laying in the sun, even though it's cold outside, kind of thing. Being in nature, whatever I'm called to. Sometimes it's creative things. Sometimes it is cleaning, if that's what I feel called to do. And so I just really tune in. And then I'm very aware of what's calling me. Is it my body? Is it my intuition that's telling me this is what I need? Or is it my egoic mind that's telling me, oh, you need to do this? Then, and I just am very tuned in, and then I just flow with it. And something that I've really learned more recently, which I realized was more of that conditioning, is that I always felt like I had to finish things, like if I started it, but that's not being in flow still, right? It's going with the wind. So if I start cleaning my house and I get 2 rooms done and then it doesn't feel aligned anymore, then I stop, and I know I'll get back to it when it is in flow. So just for me, I have dedicated to being in flow, as
Yeah.
hard as it may feel sometimes.
No, yeah, that's exactly it. And um, but as long as we don't put that mindfulness of being in flow and say, no, I gotta finish this first, and then you're gonna get slowed down computer, you're gonna get like all of the things are gonna start, working against you to make you work even harder to get it done before you take that break. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's just my thoughts. I personally have a hard time being unplugged. And it's not because I'm on social media. It's like last night I even got a text. It was 8:30 and I answered it and I went, "Hey, wait a minute. It is Sunday night. Should have I answered that? Could have this waited till tomorrow?" I'm catching myself now. So it's just that space to be in where you can just have your own downtime if that's what you need.
Hmm.
Yeah. Lot like for me, we go camping to a family spot and it's like we do have internet and stuff, but it's like I set my phone down and I just embrace the sun, the green grass, the water running, all of the things. It truly, truly, it's like nature's medicine for me.
Absolutely. I For me, I just, like I said, I just do what I'm called. And creativity is something that often and that sparks the creativity within me, to do writing or to do, workshops or things like that. And it is, rest is difficult. We are so, so conditioned to always be on the go. And especially as an entrepreneur, it's like, well, you need to push it, you need to keep going. But that's where we get into that not enough, that not worthy. And those are so deeply programmed within us.
Yeah.
So.
and even having children, like my children, my kids growing up, they were in everything. Like every night of the week we had something. Keep your kids busy, they won't get into trouble, right? Like, so we just, right? And I was grateful that they did stay out of trouble, but there's something to that. And then now it's like, now they've got to be busy all the time. So it's really a space where it's the conditioning, right? That we do go through it.
Mhm.
100%. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's I think a lot of people too are scared to rest because they're scared of what's going to come up, which is
What
uh
needs to
exactly. It's avoiding, it's an escapism.
bypass.
Yeah, exactly. Which we just talked about. But if you're not in a fear space about that, and you're like, well, if it needs to come up, yeah, it may be emotional. Yeah, it
Yeah.
may be whatever. Um, but again, that being in flow, it needs to come up. And
Yeah.
maybe that's why we are feeling that way, because we need to deal with something that's deep within.
Yeah. And I find that there's sometimes like my Align magazine, for instance, I work on it and then I'm like, oh, I gotta hurry and get this done. I'm on a deadline. And then all of a sudden it's like something pulls me away and it's like, oh, that's why I didn't get it done because I needed to add this to it and it would have created more work for me if I would have finished it and had to change some things. And so there is, you know, things that happen
Mhm.
for a reason for us not to be in it all the time.
Yeah.
Different aspects. Yeah.
Like I said, this is my mantra lately is everything is always working out for me.
Yeah.
And I need to let go of what that looks like. So it's all working out for me, even if that means that I'm not doing anything, even if that means that I'm not,
Yeah.
creating at this point. I don't know when it's going to come. It will when it's ready,
That's right.
but just allowing it to be in
Because
that flow.
what if you wrote your book and it's good, but the timing wasn't right for you to have it finished and you keep hitting a closed door for a publisher, right? But what if it came through in a different, little bit different way, and in a year's time, that publisher's ready for you now,
Yeah.
right? So it's a lot of mental stuff that goes on when we're thinking of stuff like
So
that.
much.
Yeah, yeah,
So much of that conditioning. And like I said, it sounds it sounds beautiful to be in flow, but really it's a lot of work to be in flow. It is, and it's that inner work, it's that conditioning that you have to let go of that keeps coming up,
yeah.
you know.
And how do you become mindful if you're not in flow? And how do you become in flow if you're not mindful? It is putting the brakes on and like literally, like I notice that when I am very mindful and I slow down and to be in flow, it is totally, we feel that we always have to have our foot on the gas. We don't. We really, really don't.
No.
And it's once you figure that out, it is so much easier. So much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to see once you're used to being in flow that when you're not,
Yep.
everything is difficult. And you're like, why did I do that to myself for all those years?
Yep.
You know? And I mean, of course, it's all like we've talked about. It's the conditioning. It's the all the beliefs that underlie it. But I mean, they still pop up. And then once you're in awareness or mindful about it, then it's like, yeah, no, that's not me anymore. I'm
What
gonna
they're
let that go.
showing, what they're showing me, this is so cool. I've never seen this before. What they're showing me is, you know, a big, thick elastic band, and
Yeah,
you're standing inside the band, but you are trying to work so hard and you're in resistance, and it keeps making you come back to flow. It keeps pop, you start running again, and it keeps making you take time to sit. And that's what they're showing me. They're showing me this elastic band and it keeps bringing you back to where you started until you start listening. That's cool.
That is cool. And it's so true. It's we are not meant to be
Yeah,
like we have been conditioned to be.
yeah,
We are all divine beings, and everything that's pulling us away is the conditioning.
yeah,
When we allow it to just be, like we've had this conversation, I don't know if you've ever had it in the morning musings. We are a part of nature. A tree doesn't worry about it. A tree's not going, well, I need to pop my leaves now. Because again, being in flow, it's like, maybe it might be a little early. We might get snow or,
yeah.
that
I was
kind of
just saying,
thing. It will blossom when it's ready.
yeah,
And all the yelling and cursing and, all the mind games that we play with ourselves isn't going to make it blossom any faster. It's going to make that time to blossoming suck,
yeah.
really.
Or the blossom, or else it just dies too, right? And then you have to replant from the seed level, you know? It's like buying flowers. Now that you said that, the nature, it's like buying flowers. You don't just take it from the greenhouse and plop it on your deck and hopefully it doesn't freeze at night. Well, we're in Canada, so it freezes at night. I guess I should state that, right? But it's just a space for us to realize that we have to, yeah, condition is not the right word, but we have to allow ourselves to understand, oh, now we know that the temperature is not going to drop, so we can leave it outside, right? It's like the leaves, like you said, blossoming too soon. Well, we just got a big dump of snow. Would have they survived, right? Right?
Yeah.
So they always survive in nature, but
Yeah.
if you speed up the process, but yeah, why resist? Because it brings you right back to where you started.
And it's a whole lot of struggle when you resist. It is. And I love that analogy of the elastic band because it is. It's like pulling it and you're dragging it and trying to make it happen. And yeah. And who knows what you are missing out on that because you are so focused on, I need to keep pushing, have the blinders on, and there's things that, that could be coming in if you're being mindful that would make things easier that are inviting you, you know, if you're pushing as an entrepreneur would for clients.
Yep,
So I need to put like content out there. If you're pushing and you have those blinders on, you're missing all the content that's coming in.
that's right.
I think.
100%. You're missing all the signs. Think of it this way. You hurry to get to work, and you don't want a red light. You don't want a red light. And all of a sudden you got a red light. And all of a sudden the bus drives by that says, write your book, right? And you completely miss it
Yeah,
because you're on a hurry to get to work and you don't want that red light to look at what's around you. It's so important to be mindful of what is being said, and I tell people, if you don't know your passion, start doing something that you love, that lights you up, allows you to forget time and puts you in it, and you will be led to where you need to go.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Because when we do that and when we play or we rest or we are out of that mind space, that conditioned mind space, we open up that channel to get the guidance.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. I think that's long enough for today. I don't know how long we were, but
I don't know either.
I thank you for being here. All of Tara's stuff is in the comments, or in the description. Sorry, in the comments too, maybe. In the description, to get a hold of her as well as myself. And we are still doing our soul revival not, I was gonna say workshop. Maybe we need to do a workshop that I said that.
Maybe.
Um, healing sessions. So if you are interested in that, contact either one of us and we can make that happen for you. Yeah, thank you again for being here. I appreciate you and all of our conversations.
I love our conversation.
Awesome. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Much love.
You too.